Hello. करते हैं स्टार्ट। चलो। The following waves involved compression and rarefaction reactions. हैं? Which of the following waves involves compression and rarefaction reactions? पता नहीं. In which of the following Indian state is the 100 Drums Festival observed? मेघालय लग रहा है. Which of the following discovery in 1932 named scientific best known? न्यूट्रॉन ढूंढा था ना. Consider the following statement about the book being Indian by Pravan V.K. Verma. The book examines Indian identity and received the Vodafone Crossword Book Award. It was honored with the Sahitya Academy Award for Poetry. क्या है ये? Which one of the following is the deepest island and protected port of eastern coast of India? Deepest port तो विशाखापट्टनम है ना, और प्रोटेक्टेड है क्योंकि वहाँ पे ये नेवी बेस है. Chandragupta Maurya defeated the governor of which of the following left behind the Alexander the Great? इंडस वैली एंड नॉर्थ वेस्टर्न रीजन. इंडस वैली तो नहीं बोलेंगे उसको. Gateways of Sanchi and Bharat stupas primarily depict stories which of the following? जात का टेल्स ही होगा क्योंकि ये तो हिंदुइज्म की है. अर्थशास्त्र तो ये भी हिंदुइज्म की बोल सकते हैं हम. Which human organ is responsible for removing nitrogenous waste from the human body? In the human excretory system, which specific structure is responsible for removing nitrogenous waste? Nephrons. Which are on as of August 2025, how many natural satellites moon of Jupiter have? 97 है. सैटर्न के चेंज हो रहा है ना. सैटर्न का क्वेश्चन देंगे तो क्या करना है पता नहीं. Where was the first T20I Men's Cricket World Cup held? जीते तो साउथ अफ्रीका में था शायद. इंडिया जीती थी ना साथ में. The concept of dedicated freight corridors in India was conveyed, क्या conceived and formally announced in which year? No idea. In what year? ये कैसी इंग्लिश है? The Chelia committee was officiated. अभी Chelia committee कौन सी committee है? Which postulate of Dalton's atomic theory explain the law of definite proportion? Law of definite proportion. Atoms. Definite proportions. Atoms are indivisible and indestructible. Activity rapid industrialization 2 में था. अभी बोलेंगे सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट रिमूवल ऑफ पॉवर्टी में. Which of the following books is authored by eminent author Ruskin Bond? साहित्य अकेडमी फेलोशिप इन 2024. ये है शायद ब्लू अम्ब्रेला. परिंदे तीरा की है. एक्सपेरिमेंट विद ट्रुथ एक इसकी थी. ये शायद महात्मा गांधी की थी. विंग्स ऑफ फायर अब्दुल कलाम. 1801 which ruler of Awadh was forced to cede nearly half of his territory to the British under the subsidiary alliance? अवध. 1801. वाजिद अली शाह. सूजा उद्दौला तो बैटल ऑफ बक्सर में था तो 1801 में तो नहीं होगा. वाजिद अली शाह तो शायद नॉर्थ वेस्ट में कहीं था. सद्दात खान बुरनुल मुल्क नाम से होगा शायद. बुरनुल मुल्क का नाम था ना सद्दात खान. Which of the following is the folk dance of Arunachal Pradesh? ये बियू बिहार. दांडिया रास ये गुजरात. उगड़ी गोवा. लायन एंड पीकॉक डांस ही होगा. Among the following is associated with badminton game? देवेंद्र झंझरिया. अमित कुमार सरोहा. प्रमोद भगत. सुमित अंटिल. एक ऐसा नाम है अंटिल. प्रमोद भगत. देखते हैं इसको. लाड़ खान टेम्पल इज लोकेटेड एट. which of the following is a natural source of acetic acid? विनेगर पोटैटो में कहा ही हो एसिड होता है कोई. रितिका फोगाट इज रिलेटेड टू फोगाट तो सब दंगल दंगल. The European Southern Observatory is building externally extremely large telescope which will be the world's largest optical telescope at which location? Extremely large telescope. Which major dynasty emerged as the primary rivals of the Chauhans of Ajmer? Chandels of Chalukyas. Chalukyas of Gujarat. Tomars of Delhi. Parmars of Malwa. Chandelas. इंडियन स्टैटिस्टिकल इंस्टीट्यूट क्या है ये? पीसी मानोबोलिस। क्या है ये? कमीशन सेपरेटिंग इंटेरोगेशन रिकमेंडेशंस सेपरेट एसीपीई आर8 होते हैं ना। Monica aggressively asked that the doctor sahab who he was to speak so impertinently to her. Yeah? Who, whom are you speaking to? So, who are you speaking to me? Eh? Who are you speaking? Whom are you speaking to me? So impertinently, Monica angrily asked Doctor Sahab. Who are you speaking so impertinently? Who are you speaking to me so impertinently? Speaking to me होगा, थोड़ा गड़बड़ है. Who are you speaking to me? How are you हो सकता था. Whom are you speaking to? Who are you speaking? Who are you to speak? Who are you to speak to me? Who are you to speak to me? So ये हो सकता है. Who are you to speak to me so imprudently? He works hard. Dash he doesn't always succeed. But he doesn't always. Even though he works hard because he doesn't always succeed. Neither of the girls is willing to accept the proposal. He ruled well, but Dash making close friends just with justice than with mercy. He ruled well, but he ruled well, but watching making closer friends. He ruled well, but watch making closer friends with justice than with mercy. He ruled well, but watches watchmaking, but watch camouflage, camouflage, booziness, boozy, bus, business और not है. A Tash is a person who remains absent from school. You're truant. Sachin Tendulkar was an indispensable member of the Indian cricket team in his days. क्या मतलब? Synonym. Essential, functional, optional, motivational. Uh, the captain said the winds are turning unfavorable. Captain said that the winds were. Choose the correct sentence from the given following. Why has they? गलत. Why are the boy? गलत. When are they expected to arrive? सही लग रहा है. What have you done? Did done. uh, the utensils have been cleaned. Someone cleaned the utensil. Has been है ना. Someone has होगा फिर. ambivalent, एंटोनिम उल्टा, certain unsure, ambiguous मतलब unsure, छुपा हुआ, hesitant मतलब unsure, तो certain ही होगा. Don't go outside because it is raining heavily. Gordon walking out into the hall and took his long leather coat from the rail. Gordon walked out, took है ना तो old है, past, walked out into the hall. Into तो नहीं into 3 है. A provision of quality education and healthcare services must be considered as a basic need for all individuals. And provision to go to the devil, to be extremely and increasingly bad or ruinous condition. Born or close friend, curse someone. Delegates of the conflicting countries formally met uh, at a conference ironing out their differences. Iron out. The president loved that lady. That lady was loved by the president. Loved that lady. ये ना कुछ थोड़ा सा गड़बड़ लग रही है. ये भी लग रहा है मुझे और ये भी लग रहा है. ये दोनों लग रहे हैं. The lady was loved by the president. The lady is loved. Loved पहले था ना, तो loved has was loved. गंदा हो गया. The minister was supposed to address the minister was supposed to address the gathering located in the address of hotel. Address होगा ना. Appealed. Allied clap applied disgusted. Appealed. A synonym. Appealed. Allied clap. अपलॉड होता है ना, तो अपलॉड होता है. क्लैप तो ये आ गया बड़ा सा. In 1996, Japan researchers put a rudimentary form of sleep learning to the test of eliciting what psychologists call a condition response, liking two stimuli so that repeating the second one triggers a responsive ordinarily associated with the first. They delivered mild electric shocks to the leg for five sleepers while paying a tone awakening. The subject experienced increasingly increased heart rate when they heard the tone alone. The study proved that the sleeping subject recalled the tone at least subconsciously. A much more ambiguous condition trial came in 2007 when a team led by the medical psychologist Jan Bond at the University of Lübeck, Germany, used olfactory cues to trigger fully conscious or declarative memories. They began by piping the odor of rose to, into subjects' nostril while they memorized the position of objects on a computer screen. Then some of the subjects were exposed to fragrance against during the SWS. When when they awoke, they recalled the location of the object 15% more accurately than the control group, those not exposed to the smell during sleep. Acha. In subsequent experiments, the neuroscientist Ken Parler, Northwestern University, Chicago, taught subjects to play a short melody on a keyboard. Later, as a subject napped, the tune was played repeatedly to half of them. After waking up, the group played it with a few mistakes that then the cohort who had slept in silence. क्या मतलब इसका after waking up to that the group played it with a fewer mistakes. अच्छा, then the cohort who slept ठीक है. Another study was directly relevant to my linguistic quest at the Swiss National Science Foundation. Subjects who were taught Dutch words during the day proved better able to recall and translate them after those who were replayed during SWS at night. These music and language trials show that audi- auditory cues trigger memory rehearsal for a certain task directly. No need for conditioned association at all. Together, these two studies offer something close to a proof of concept, but one element was missing. All the experiment involved skills or information that has been learned during waking. The demonstration hypon- hyponopedia in action. Scientists would have to teach a sleeping subject something new. बराबर. In March 2015, researchers reported in the new Natural Neuroscience that they had just done that. अच्छा. The team led by the neurologist Karim Bechana of the Center of Scientific Research in Paris began to implanting electrodes in the brain cell of mice and recondite the firing of place cell as the animal navigate a meter wide circular platform. The researchers chose one cell at each mouse, then waited until it reactivated during sleep. At the moment they zapped the brain's reward cell center with a low voltage electric current, creating a sensation of intense pleasure. When the mice awoke, they rushed to the location associated with the place cell, lingering there in apparent expeditions of another ward. The scientists had created a false memory, changing the animal's behavior in a way that did not result for prior waking experience. ठीक है, which conclusion is most consistent with the author's synthetic of the research on sleeping learning. It is now conclusively proven that people can learn new languages entirely while asleep. Artificial stimulation during sleep can create a new behavior response in animals, but in humans, sleepy mainly consolidates prior learning. All sleep learning research has been desecrated. Sleep cues are ineffective in modern memory behavior. Artificial simulation during sleep can create new behavior response in animals, but in humans, sleep mainly consolidates prior learning. ठीक है. What can be inferred about the limitations of current human sleeping learning research from the passage? बेकार है चश्मा ये. Uh, what can be inferred from the current human sleeping learning research? Human subjects readily acquire entirely new skill during sleep without prior exposure. नहीं. Human sleep learning to date only enhances memory or skills already learned while awake. Memory information during sleep is exclusively electric shock. Sleep. The tone of the passage can be described as analytical and cautiously optimistic about scientific progress in sleep learning. इससे ज्यादा और क्या हो सकता है? True. All human sleep learning experiment re- describe the required subject to learn information while awake before sleep cues were given. Yes. The study that imparted electrodes in the mice was the first to demonstrate learning entirely during sleep without any prior waking association. Yes. To use a cue during sleep in human could establish entirely new declarative memories. Nope. Uh, Following reflect the findings sleeping experiment. Which of the following statement accurately reflects the findings of sleep learning experiment described in the passage? Earlier studies demonstrate that conditioned response could be formed during sleep. Later experiments proved that new skills could be taught to human entirely during sleep without prior awakening learning. The auditory and olfactory cues during sleep can enhance the recall information learned years ago. Hmm. भगत भगत ए, 120 कैसे आ गए भाई? भाई गलत तो बहुत कम नहीं हुआ है, एक तो गलत हुआ है. तीन भाई, तीन ही गलत होते हैं मेरे, पता नहीं कैसे. हमेशा सिर्फ तीन गलत होते हैं. भाई मेरे को और कम करना है, तीन से थोड़ा. दो तो आए, फिर एक आए, फिर जीरो. तीन पे अटका हुआ है ये. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स. Which of the following involves refraction and reaction? Transverse wave longitudinal waves involves compression and rarefaction. Mechanical traveling to medium. 100 drum festival. यहीं पे हो गई. Consider the following statement about the book being Indian by the Pawan K. Verma. भाई कौन है ये? पवन के वर्मा वोडाफोन बुक अवार्ड स्टेटमेंट 2 साहित्य अकादमी अवार्ड. इनकरेक्ट, इसको नहीं मिला. 6% क्या है ये क्वेश्चन? डेडिकेटेड फ्राइट कॉरिडोर्स in India was first convinced and formally announced in which year? क्या है ये? Dedicated Freight Corridors 2005. चेलिया कमेटी, क्या है ये? टैक्स रिफॉर्म कमेटी, चेलिया। मेरे को तो चेलिया से सिर्फ एक ही चीज याद आती है, चलिए चलिए चलिए। ये कैसे गलत हो गया? पोस्टुलेट डाल्टन एटॉमिक थ्योरी एक्सप्लेन द लॉ ऑफ डेफिनेट प्रोपोर्शन, एटम्स आर indivisible and indestructible, सही है। एटम्स ऑफ डिफरेंट डिफरेंट मासेस इन प्रोपोर्शन, ये भी हो सकता है। डेफिनेट प्रोपोर्शन है तो एलिमेंट्स से प्रॉपर्टीज है। एटम्स ऑफ द सेम एलिमेंट्स आर आइडेंटिकल इन मास एंड साइज, ये भी हो सकता है। एटम कंबाइंड इन सिंपल होल नंबर रेशियोज इन फॉर्म ऑफ कंपाउंड। मुझे डिफिकल्ट कौन सा क्वेश्चन था ये? डिफिकल्ट था। सदात खान वही बुरन उल मुल्क है ना ये? मेरे हिसाब से तो वही है। बैडमिंटन प्रमोद भगत, ये एथलेटिक्स है, पैरा एथलेटिक्स। लद लड़खान, लड़खान। तो इजी है, ये भी इजी है। ये बुंदेलखंड, चालुक्य ऑफ गुजरात। पुलिस, ये भी इजी है। एक उसमें गलत होते, दो इसमें गलत होते। इसमें किसकी स्पेलिंग मिसस्पेल्ट? कौन सा मिसस्पेल्ट है? रिकम डबल सी नहीं आता। वही सेपरेटिंग। 54 50 64 35, ये गलत हो गया। He ruled well but watching watchfully, he ruled well but watchfully making adverb, adverb के बाद एक कॉमा क्यों है? Adding using watchfully maintains the parallel structure with well, emphasizing the manner in which he ruled. He ruled well but watchfully making closer friends. 74 62 71 61 70 72 68 75 72 42। ये कैसे कम लोगों को पता है? क्लैप तो अपलोड हो जाएगा ना। अप्लाइड का तो मतलब होगा कुछ और ही। एलाइड का मतलब होता है जो साथ में हो, दोस्त। 55 39 क्या था इसमें? 59 24। Human learning experience described in cycle to learn information while awake before sleep. Before sleep cues were given. Study the implanted electrons mice to first learning entirely सही है। So cues during sleeps in human could establish deactivating memories. Earlier studies demonstrate that condition responsible could form during sleep. Later experiment तो ये था आज का स्कोर. बाय बाय.